Hi, my name's Andy. I'm the head of product here at Siftwell, and we're going to go through a brief demo of our Pegasus application today. So we take your eligibility and claims and operational data and unify it with over 15,000 proprietary data points to make recommendations that match your organization goals with the team and resources you have. One of the first views we see here is our Data Explorer view. And as I just described, we take all this information, and one of the first things you can see is the geographic breakdown of where your membership is. This is a really common question we get asked from a lot of our payer clients. And so you could do some pretty interesting things here now with the data. So CBO stands for community-based organizations, but you can do this with other provider networks too. So you can start seeing, okay, what overlays you have with the populations you have, and therefore you can start understanding there might be areas of opportunity like Springfield that doesn't necessarily have the CBOs that you might want them to have access to. If you're doing a marketing use case, for example, you might be able to do some interesting things with Siftwell proprietary data, such as overlaying propensity to listen to different modalities if you're trying to target specific regions here. This could give you some interesting insights and overlap of population. Now, as we go down here, we have a Siftwell library of tiles. So I'm not going to go through every single tile here, but we have different options to enable different use cases. So for example, because this is a marketing analysis, we have things like churn analysis, where our machine learning algorithm identifies those who are high risk churn, medium churn, low risk. You see enrollment over time, risk distribution, so forth. Over here on the left-hand side, you have our filter panel. So you can just filter on people who are just high risk or very high risk. You can go down and see their age distribution, so forth. You can then save these dashboards, so you can create a new one. For example, you can say like, hey, I want like new marketing analysis. So you can create new dashboards depending on your different use case. Then you can go down here and drop down and you can switch over to different dashboards. So for example, this is a Siftwell built dashboard for a client, and this one has its own unique tiles. For example, this is not churn anymore, so there's no churn tile here. But if we scroll all the way down here, we have a cost breakdown tile as an example, which could be relevant for this specific use case. Now, again, this is more looking at the unified data, sorting through time frame. But let's go over to the cohorts where we're now going to look at outputs from a machine learning model. So for example, let's go through a population health use case. I want to look at areas of opportunity that if we were to do an initiative, we can avoid up to $2 million in costs. Let's take a look at this diabetes management here. We're going to go to our impactable analysis. And what you're seeing here in the scatter plot is we're going to work our way from top right to bottom left. So here you can see clustering of populations based on their location. These are the members that are likely to be able to do this intervention. And if they were having this intervention, we could see they have more likelihood to avoid costs over time. And you can see these interventions down here. You can see this actions view, which we can get into. So let's say we set this custom capacity where we can only reach out to 1,000 members out of this. What we can do here is now go see ROI. And is going to map out our ROI here, saying that if we were to do this intervention, the blue line indicates what costs were previously. The black line is the cost if you were to do status quo. And then the dotted purple line is what happens if we do the Siftwell recommended intervention. The area under the curve is this cost avoidance number. And you can see other metadata associated. Now you can go back and forth. You can adjust this number. You can go explore other cohorts. But let's say we ended up selecting this one. You can do a couple of things. You can either go back to the Data Explorer. You can export members to CSV. You can create a new custom cohort and label this as your new custom cohort. Or like, let's say we can create a campaign here. So like just new Andy diabetes campaign to start tracking this population. So then we're going to go over to the campaign side. And again, this is demo data. So this isn't any real campaign information. But we can go over here and, for example, go over to the diabetes quality. And you can see the timeline of how long this campaign has been running for. We get an operational view as well as executive. The operational view shows the flow between call attempts, the top of funnel in your initiative, all the way down into the quality measure documented. So at a quick glance, the operational teams and executives can understand where the flow points are and where you need the room for biggest improvement. You can also do team performance analysis, so you can understand which are the top performer teams and why, and which one of them needs the most work. So for example, now you can go to decline reasons. You can look at just specific stages and see, okay, well, number one thing we have is scheduling conflicts. Why? Well, one of the things is like work scheduling versus childcare and so forth. So that's a quick overview of our demo applications. Definitely looking forward to talking more soon, and thank you.